Hey everyone, this is Santiago Leon. I am the founder and president of Leon Productions. We are continuing this series of how to create a website. Our first video was HTML basics. This video, we'll be talking about the basics of CSS. And CSS, what it stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It tells your browser how to display HTML elements, everything from colors and fonts to spacing and layout. Like I said last week in our previous video, HTML is the skeleton of the website when it comes to coding. CSS has the color, the flair, how it looks like, what color to use for this background, this font size, things like that. So we'll be learning a lot about CSS, and CSS is very fun. You know, um, there are three main ways to add CSS: inline styles, internal style sheets, and external CSS files. External files are the most common and keep things organized, which what we're going to do today with using Dreamweaver. Last video we used uh, Dreamweaver to create the HTML code, and today we're going to use Dreamweaver again to use the HTML code, but also to implement the CSS. So let's open up Dreamweaver, like my German mentor who taught me all this would say, Dreamweaver. So let's create something very simple on HTML. Put a heading, H1, and call it basics of CSS. And I'm going to put a paragraph just for kicks and giggles. I know you like kicks and giggles. And if you type in Lorem on Dreamweaver and then hit tab afterwards, it'll give you the rest of the Lorem Ipsum Tummy content. So I'm going to do this whole Dreamweaver connection. To get CSS rendered on your HTML code, you have to have it saved properly on your computer. I'm using an Apple Macintosh. So I'm going to save it in my computer. I hit File, Save As, so hit Documents. I'm going to save it to a cool folder called Leon Productions. And once I get this organized, it's good to save because you're able to see how it is saved locally. A lot of this stuff is saved locally, if not remotely. And I'm going to do videos. I'm going to do website basics. And I'm going to save this index, this page, which is all the HTML code. I'm going to call it index.html. The first file that a browser recognizes to show first, index.html, 99.9%. The other one will be welcome.htm or HTML. You can use HTML, but I use HTM, it's the same thing. I like to simplify things. Hit save. Beautiful. Now you can create a CSS file on Dreamweaver, which is pretty easy. I'm going to put file, attach style sheet, and I'm going to call it, actually, first I got to create the style sheet. So I'm going to go to File, New, go to CSS, double click it, then File, Save As, place this CSS file in the same folder where you are saving all this stuff. I'm saving it under Website Basics. Call it style.css. That's the most standard name for a style sheet. You call it style sheet.css, whatever you want to call it. Ends with a CSS, but I just call it style just to make it easy and simple for you guys. Hit save. All right, it's there. Now I'm going to attach this file into here. Now, in my previous video, you learned that between the head tags where you do all the mechanic work, you can say. So I'm going to go to File, attach style sheet. I'm going to go to Browse. I'm going to go to where I save the CSS, which is website basics. Double click style.css. Keep it as link, hit OK. And voila, it is in the head tags. You don't have to click in there. It does it automatically. So there you have it. Basics of CSS. Now, we have two files now. We have the HTML file, which is index.htm, and we have the style.css. And I said a couple minutes ago, there's three ways to add CSS. Inline styles means that you do the style inside the HTML code. It gets a little bit messy. It can be done, but it gets too ludicrous. And then you got the external CSS, which is what we're doing right now. CSS uses a simple structure. The selector tells which HTML element to target, and inside curly braces, you list properties and values. So we're going to test in Dreamweaver with the H1, the header, the heading, which is in the heading is basics of CSS. We're going to use that, and we're going to style it. Either make it bold, we can make it a different color. So I'm going to hit save all, and I'm going to go style. And you see the H1 here? You're going to use that for the styling. So you got this code right here, char set UTF-8. You're going to do it below that code. You're going to type in H1, curly braces, and we're going to change the text color to blue. So we're going to type in color, which signifies meaning that you're able to change the text color. So I'm going to put blue. Keep it simple. Hit file, save all, and it should reflect in our HTML file. So there you have it. Basics of CSS. Beautiful. All right. What if you want to change the background color, right? So this content is under body. So body is the container of everything. It is the root of the background of everything. So I'm going to go and press enter. You can put body, curly braces, and we're going to check. Now the key, the code to change the background color for your website is background. I'm going to go hello. And then go back to index.htm, and you see the color difference. Cool. Yeah, we have one more element, the paragraph. All right, the paragraph is there. Let's make it a little spicier. Let's make it italicized. So I'm going to go enter twice, put in P for paragraph, and then we're going to type in text, align, center, and then I hit save all, just show you the changes of the paragraph. Then what if you want to add, let's go back to the notes. Every element in HTML is a box. The box model includes content, padding, borders, and margins. Understanding this helps you control layout and spacing. So we're going to do a quick demonstration of creating a box element. And the most common element for a box is a div. It's going to be open caret div. And we're going to give it a class. I'm going to show you why. Class will point to the CSS file. So we're going to call it box for box. And we do close caret, and it creates that div. And we're going to type in lorem tab ipsum. We got another box you see here. We're going to make that box white, the background, give it some padding. So we're going to go back to the CSS, and we're going to put dot box. So that will pertain, this will point to this div class box. And we're going to change the background color to to height, and then we're gonna make the padding 20 pixels. Give it some wiggle room, I call it. Boom. File save all. Looks pretty good. And then let's go back to our notes. See what else we can add to this div, or we just leave it there. Okay, control the layout, the spacing, the borders. We could add a border to this. So go back to our Dreamweaver. Let's go to CSS. We got a border to this box. We'll make it nice and black. So border solid 1 pixel, and then we'll put black. File save all, and then boom, you see a black border. So this is the basic CSS. You can do a lot more magic. So the .box helps you target elements. So what you put in the CSS will target the box just by naming the selectors. You can use tags, classes, IDs, or even relationships between elements. You can combine these properties like color, margin, font size, which is what we did. The font size, let's do that change. So in the .box, we could change the font size to, let's say, 48 pixels. File save all, and boom, looks nice and big. You guys can see it from your YouTube video. But there you have it. You could do a lot of different things. You could also change the margin, so you could bring it down a bit. Margin controls how far space between the previous element and the below element, also left and right. You could like positioning and some spacing as well. So I'm gonna put margin. Top is the first number. Right is the two slot is, well, you see right here in Dreamer, margin top goes first, then margin right, then margin bottom, and then put margin left. 10 pixels. You have to name it. You just margin top, right, bottom, and left. You see it. Some changes, but if you see some drastic changes, but 50, so I can move the box more towards the left side. You see the change. Pretty cool. Awesome. Save it, and you can preview it here on Dreamweaver Live. And there's the website. That's CSS. This does all the coloring, the design, anything that you want to look pretty, you do in the CSS. HTML, you just build the skeleton, the text, you put the image, the heading, and things like that. So basics of CSS. If you have any questions, if you want some consulting of how to do this stuff more thoroughly or tutoring, you can contact me at sleonproductions.com. We can schedule a call, but if you need help on your website or things like that, you can go to sleonproductions.com. Anyways, I'm Santiago Leon. I trust that you've learned a lot with CSS, and you don't have to use Dreamweaver. You can use web visual code editor, and you can have fun there. Anyways, this is Santiago Leon signing off.